What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So at this point here, we're just awaiting the MRI results for Paul George, in which he's had an elbow injury that's kept him out the last couple months. And a lot of people thought or still think is more severe than what is being put on. Now, when you look at the reports online, things like that, you'll see that the MRI has been pushed back from today to tomorrow. It was scheduled for him to get the MRI today, but they wanted to take it an extra day to definitely take a better look at it, get a better feel for it. And hopefully he's feeling a lot better, as well to, get a better analysis on it to, provide the Clipper Nation and the NBA world on his status and how he can return or how he might have to shut it down for the rest of the season. I personally think that, things are going well for Paul George. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of good things about his recovery process. Also been hearing a lot of good things about Kawhi Leonard's recovery process as well. So, I mean, that definitely plays a huge role in regards to the Clippers' success going forward and their confidence going forward as a team that they'll be able to get their two stars back. But of course, we have to see. Nothing's set in stone. Everything is kind of still up in the air. But at the same time, the hope is there and the belief that everything will turn out for the good is there in regards to both players, of course. And when you think about Paul George's injury, as I said before, the elbow injury that he had, I definitely know that elbow injury can require Tommy John surgery, as I said before, which is a surgery that he doesn't want and that nobody wants him to get, because not only it can keep him out until the next season, but it can affect him long term, because that's one of those injuries that I've said before that a lot of baseball players get. Very rare do basketball players get those injuries, because those injuries right there, they kind of really define a basketball player's game in a lot of ways, because, when you're shooting that jump shot, you got to have arc on it. You use the wrist to the elbow, to the arm, all that's connected, to the fingertips, and it all coincides together in regards to, how you shoot and how your form is and how you can follow through with your jump shot. So, I mean, it definitely can affect him long term if he has to get the surgery. Definitely just got to hope that he doesn't get the surgery. You got to hope that Paul George can actually find his way and fight through that, because that can definitely be something that I think that, can hinder him, in regards to his career going forward. So Clippers Nation definitely is behind him, and the NBA world is definitely behind him, hoping that he makes a return and be able to. But just because, a player's feeling good, this and that, doesn't mean that, they're actually feeling good enough to come back on the court. So that MRI is very, very important. And the fact that it got pushed back, you have some actually pushing back on the idea that, he might be able to return. But we'll just have to see. We can't, say anything or do anything right now. We have to just see how it goes. We have to see exactly how he feels and exactly how the results come out, because like I said, this is not an injury I think he can try to play through, and it's not an injury that I think he wants to play with, simply because, like I said, it can affect him long term. And anytime you have any pushback on MRI results or anything like that, you're definitely going to have people around you pushing back on the idea of you coming back. Now, the Inquirer.net and Hoops Hype and a couple other websites can definitely give you insight on this injury and things that he has going on. But hopefully, like I said, it's nothing really major at all. You definitely hope that he comes back, because he's one of their, biggest hopes, because he's definitely a big part of what they're trying to do. Of course, along with Kawhi Leonard being the biggest, but still, he's definitely a big part of what they're trying to do going forward, which is winning a championship. And even still with Paul George, they did come one game from, or should I say, one series from the NBA Finals, so they're definitely a legit team. So having him back would definitely, make more of an impact on the Clippers the way they are now. And as they're constructed right now, they definitely can use his offense, because I think that's the biggest thing the Clippers are lacking is offense. So having him back would definitely, give them a good run to, finish out the season very well. Hopefully Kawhi Leonard comes back as well. They still have about 20, 30 games left. Then you got to look at the fact that, them being in the 8th seed, he definitely, if he comes back, he definitely can help push them up to, a couple of seeds higher, possibly maybe to the 6th seed. And then, Kawhi Leonard comes back and then they can take it into the playoffs and, try to make a run for a championship. So you definitely want to see all that align and fall into place. But at the same time, the stars have to align all the way, because it's still a stretch, even though, everything is looking good right now. Everything sounds good, in regards to Kawhi Leonard sounding good, feeling good, and PG, but we still have to see exactly how it goes and how it pans out, because these injuries are serious and they'd have to be taken that way. And everybody has to understand that. So, hopefully everything goes well tomorrow with Paul George's MRI. Hopefully he can make that return in March as the time that they project him to make the return, or that he possibly could make the return. You definitely hope that happens, because it definitely betters their chances of not only making the playoffs, but avoiding the play-in tournament, which I think that's what they want to do, of course. If they have to go through that, cool. But if you don't have to, it's definitely a lot better. So having Paul George can definitely better your chances with that, especially the way Luke Kennard is playing. Reggie Jackson's starting to pick it up. Terrence Mann definitely, had last couple games where he's picked it up pretty good as well. So you definitely hope that all that transpires and turns into something big, where the Clippers can benefit from having somebody like Paul George coming back, and then Kawhi Leonard returning on top of that, where they could really build something that a lot of teams can't contend with, which is a dominant championship type team, which I think they could be. So first step, of course, as I said, get Paul George back. Hopefully the MRI goes well. I personally believe it's going to go well. I don't think there's going to be too much pushback. That's just the confidence, I have in the situation. And I feel like everybody else should have the same confidence, not try to be bashful about it, or, try to, look to the negative, be positive about it. And I think positive things will come. So, hopefully we'll see, Paul George return and help this team get out the 8th seed. Because one thing I don't want to see, I would love to see the Clippers find a way to get up to the 6th seed. Even though I've said in my other videos, I believe that the Clippers can go 7-10 in their next 10 games, going forward, even without Kawhi and PG, just because their schedule is pretty favorable. But at the same time, definitely having their help definitely doesn't hurt. It definitely is going to enhance everything. So if they can get Paul George back in March, and Kawhi Leonard can come back in late March, April, mid-April, something like that, they're going to be cooking. They got something going. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be they're going to be right where they want to be. And like I said, not a lot of people are saying too much about Kawhi and PG and the Clippers, but I definitely think they're the most dangerous team in the NBA, because they're pretty decent, pretty damn good without their two superstars. What they've been able to do has been amazing. Got to give them their credit for that. But also, you got to look at this team and be like, man, once they get their superstars back, who can stop them? Who would be better than them? Like, hypothetically, if Kawhi and PG had to come back next season, they definitely would be the favorite to win the championship. I don't care who they play against. That's just how good of a team they have and how good of a coach they have in Ty Lue. So, definitely excited to see, what can happen going forward. Norman Powell's another player that needs to be looked at as well. He's progressing a lot better with his foot and everything like that. So getting him back, possibly, maybe within the playoffs, somewhere in there, the first round, that'll be big as well. So if they can just get everybody on the same page, get everybody healthy, you never know what can happen. Definitely something big, and definitely, hopefully, this season for it to happen. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Cali out.